Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. Coming up here, we are going to get into a Raiders Report mailbag. For those of you that don't know what that is, I go live every single Tuesday. I ask the questions that Raider Nation wants to know, or answer the questions that Raider Nation wants to know. So the first one coming in here is going to be from Jonathan Perez. We need to cut our losses and stop trying to take Carr to the next level like he's some sort of Pokemon. I know a lot of people are going to hate on DC, and this is also a super thanks, so thank you, Jonathan. But you know what? Derek really hasn't played all that bad. He hasn't played great. He hasn't played elite, but I don't really think he's played all that bad this season. Ryan, you're welcome, man. Thanks for watching the show. And then JV California Hobby. Hey, bud, shout out to you. I just want everyone to believe we got a great team that needs to believe in themselves. I mean, Davante Adams said it. This team is great on paper, but they need to combine a little bit better as a team. This team will get better. It's just going to take some time. I didn't think it would take time, but it is going to have to take a little bit of time. Let's go to Brian, the shoemaker. What about quit crying and have faith in your team? I don't know if you're talking to me or people in the chat. I'm not going to sit up here and cry. I am very frustrated. It's okay to be frustrated, but you do have to have faith in your team. It's all about just believe, baby, because you know what? If you don't believe, I still know this. Every single Sunday, I'm going to be watching the Raiders play. So, no, you might as well have some faith in this team. Let's go to Drake M. What are the biggest keys to winning these next two games before the bye week? Can't go in 5. We'd run out of fireball, a.k.a. Fire McDaniels. Yeah, it's funny that you said that. LFGs, for me personally, the keys to victory right now are just not turning over the football and having a balanced offense. And that's just – and you got to get healthy. Like, the amount of injuries that the Raiders have, like right now the Raiders are down like 7 starters. Realistically, you're down about 7 starters. So you got to get healthy. I think establishing a solid running game is going to take some pressure off of Derek Carr, and we know if you take pressure off DC, it'll put too much on his shoulders. Then he's going to respond well to that. So watch the turnovers. Run the football effectively, take pressure off Derek Carr. I think if you do those 3 things, you're going to win a lot of football games. And Raiders! Why-oh! Time to nut up and pound Denver. FTD, F the Donkeys, get it going in the chat. The greatness of the Raiders. Move Koonce up on the depth chart. I tweeted out today that I can't believe that Malcolm Koonce isn't getting more opportunities. And I understand that they paid Chandler Jones a lot of money. I get it. I really, really do. But if Chandler was playing lights out, then I can understand them not putting in Koonce. Why not just give him Malcolm Koonce, who's played only 5 snaps this year? What if you give him 10 snaps a game? 15 snaps a game? I'd rather have Malcolm Koonce on the field more than Cleveland Ferrell. I'd rather have Malcolm Koonce, who personally I thought looked pretty damn good in the preseason, even if he's out there for a snap to give Chandler Jones a breath, because I'm sorry, Chandler Jones looks like he's sucking wind a lot of times. So for me, I want Malcolm Koonce out on the field a little bit more. So what do y'all think about this? Should the Raiders play Malcolm Koonce more next game? Y for yes and for no. If we can get like 300 yeses on this video, to me, that's going to convince me that Raider Nation stands with me in the idea that Malcolm Koonce, I'm not saying he should start, not saying you play him 40, 30 snaps. He's played 5 snaps this year. Give Malcolm Koonce some more playing time. I hope I'm not alone by saying, yes, he deserves more time. Let's go to Adam Herbert. On a positive note, Mack Hollins is becoming one of my favorite wide receiver targets. Love your show, brother. Always love from Raider Nation in Inglewood. Well, Adam, shout out to you, man. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. And I agree. Right now, the most positive thing that has happened to this Raiders team this season is the emergence of Mack Hollins. Because not only is Mack Hollins proving to be a legit wide receiver, too, he's our best special teams player. If you look at the PFF ratings, he's actually the highest graded run blocker also on the Raiders team. He's tough. He's physical. He's everything that you look for in a Raiders player. Mack Hollins has been such a good addition to this team. Show Mack Hollins some love. Spam 10 in the chat. Let's go to Jack Bishop. Foster phone always corrects his last name to call. So Foster... All right, so you're saying Foster, the phone always corrects his last name to call. That's weird. It's kind of funny, but it's all good. We were talking about the toe grab that Foster made. I mean, Foster Moreau deserves more playing time. He does. He had an incredible game this past week. 2 really, really clutch catches in there. He's a big target. I thought we were going to see more 2 tight end sets from Josh McDaniels. Haven't seen it. I think we should see it a little bit more. Let's go to Hellcat. All right, so Miller at left tackle, Parham at left guard, James at center, Illuminor at right tackle, And then you're saying at question mark at right guard. So to me, the offensive line that I personally would roll with, if I was the Raiders up against Denver, I would go with left tackle Colt Miller, left guard John Simpson, because I want the Raiders to run the ball a little bit more this game. Center Andre James, right guard I'm going to go Dylan Parham, right tackle Thayer Munford, because I want Munford to keep on growing into his role as a right tackle. Let's go to Wyo. Why is Bolden playing over White? Because they love Brandon Bolden. And I can't figure it. I'm not even that upset about Bolden playing over Zamir White. I'm more upset with them only giving Josh 10 carries a game, and in big-time situations, they're giving the ball to Brandon Bolden instead of Josh Jacobs. Like, to me, I didn't really think Zamir White was going to get all that much work this season, because that's not really the way that this coaching staff has handled past running back situations, where they're going to run older veterans into the ground, and that way Zamir White's a little bit more fresh and healthy for next season. So I'm not too surprised by that. To me, though, it's concerning that Bolden is getting work in certain situations over Josh Jacobs. Now, if you guys want to see your name on a future mailbag, how do you do it? Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and try to be one of the very first people that comment on a Raiders video that I put here. It could be Noti Gang. You can say Raiders. You can shout your name, my name, whatever it is. It helps my show out a lot when you try to be early in the comments, because tells YouTube that you like the video. So, here was our Noti Gang on September 25th. These were the first 5 comments. Shout out to Untouchable Raider 1960, who I think is the Noti Gang GOAT, as far as I'm concerned. 2 Rock Chris, Andrew, The Average Mikey, and Celestino Leone. Thank you guys for being a part of the Noti Gang, and if you want to see your name on a future show, turn on that notification bell, click all. That way, as soon as I drop a video, it pops up on your phone. Let's go to Javi, California. Is Waller or Jones worth their contract so far? I mean, the answer to that is no. Chandler Jones is definitely not worth his contract. And because of how bad of a game Waller had in Week 3, if you're the highest paid tight end in the league, you can't be dropping 17 points, and that's what Waller did. I still have high hopes for Waller. I still have moderate hopes for Chandler Jones, because to me, Chandler looks like he's lost a step. That's just me being real with y'all. It looks like he's not there. Where Waller, I still see all the athletic traits. He needs to pick it up a little bit. But no, I don't think either of them have been worth their contract thus far. Let's go to Brandon Jasper. Rate Crosby's game. I like what I saw. Max Crosby is one of the best defensive ends in all the NFL. He's got the only 2 sacks on this team. He gives unbelievable, relentless pressure. He's a top 5 defensive end. That's what he is. He's a top 5 defensive end. If anybody thinks otherwise, you're wrong. Max Crosby, from a pressure standpoint, from a tackling standpoint, from him getting double teamed and still getting quarterback pressures, he's a top 5 defensive end in this league. Let's go to Scoob. Mitch, for head coach. No one understands the team better than you. Might be a pay cut, though, moving from Chat Sports. If you think I make more than Raiders coaches, then you are absolutely crazy. Here's the thing, though. I think I know this team very well, but I always say I don't know X's and O's like a head coach should. That's me being very honest with you. I think I can watch talent, and I think I can look at talent. I think I know the Raiders team well. If they wanted to use me as an advisor, go for it. But I don't want to have to be the one calling those plays, because that's not my strength. Now, a GM, I'd be interested in being a Raiders GM. Let's go to Brandon Jasper. Graham needs to stop playing such soft coverage. I hate the bend, don't break. You have to be aggressive sometimes. You do have to be aggressive sometimes. I think this is a league where if you sit back all the time, you're going to get burnt. You're going to get bit, because, let's face it, if you sit back in life, you're going to get caught. And I really, truly, truly believe that. Now, here's the other thing. I do think that the bend but don't break defense can work, but it can only work when you have your full roster. The fact that the Raiders have so many injuries right now and you don't have the depth, those 8, 9, 10-play drives, they really wear down your defense. And you get a lot of hands on the hips, and then you get a tired team. So I don't mind the bend but don't break, but you do have to learn how to switch it up. And I'm hoping you saw the second half adjustments in that Titans game where they did switch up their mindset of defense a little bit, and they did get just a little bit closer to the offensive line. All right, y'all, remember, if you want to bet on any Raiders game this year, you can do so at chatsports.com/Raiders. BetUS is the #1 sportsbook out there because of the deal we have with them. Promo code Raiders125 gets you that 125% deposit bonus, which means if you put down $100, you get $125 for free to bet with. If you don't want to bet on the Raiders, you want to bet on other NFL games, Thursday Night Football, college football, you can do it. Here are the Week 4 odds, which I'm not going to lie, I'm surprised by. The over-under in this game, 46 points. The Raiders are 2-point favorites at home. That makes me nervous. I'm not going to lie. It really does. The Raiders have been favorites for 3 straight weeks now. We know that's gone. I kind of want them to be put as an underdog. Maybe that would change the juju, voodoo. I don't know what the word is. But chatsports.com/Raiders. Promo code Raiders125. Probably watching just bad YouTube videos. That's just my honest take, man. Let's go to Julio. What up, man? Or Julio. So your solution is to fire another coach. That makes 6 coaches since Junk Carr has been here. I mean, I don't know what show you're watching. I think I've said probably close to 50 times in the last week. No, my solution isn't to fire Josh McDaniels. But if he has been as bad as what he's been, then I do think you have to consider moving on from him. If you move on from Josh McDaniels, I also think, though, yes, you have to move on from Derek Carr as well. There's not a world where you can keep one or the other. I'm kind of done with that at this point. The easiest transition for me personally, if the Raiders are bad with Josh McDaniels, and I said it earlier in the week, is to hire Brian Flores. Brian Flores is his coach to me that has connections with Dave Ziegler. They work together at New England. I like Dave Ziegler. I don't think the Raiders should move on from Dave Ziegler. But if McDaniels continues to be as bad as what he's been, and if the track record shows that he can't lead football teams as a head coach, bring in Brian Flores, who's worked with Dave Ziegler before, and then maybe you try out a solution. But when I say, move on from McDaniels, I'm talking about a disastrous season where you win 5 or less games. If it's still close and the Raiders finish the season strong, then that changes my answer. But you can't tell me you're very confident right now in what McDaniels is doing. What up, Brandon? I feed JJ. He's very hungry, man. It looks great. If you're inside the 10, it should be at least 2 JJ runs, for Christ's sake. I mean, I'll say this. I think one of the most frustrating things is the fact that when Josh seems like he's getting rolling and running back position, especially when you're as physical as what Josh is, I don't get the fact that he gets rolling and then all of a sudden I feel like Brandon Bolden comes in, or I feel like all of a sudden we just start slinging the rock. If it's me and Josh is running the way he is, you keep on running that damn football. It's going to set up. It's going to help out Derek Carr, especially in a game where you didn't have Hunter Renfrow. Yeah, Mack Hollins stepped up, but you didn't have Hunter Renfrow. Run the freaking ball, and I hope they run the freaking ball this week against Denver. What up, Hellcat? You think Davante will leave if the Raiders can't rebound? No, I don't think so. I mean, I think he truly knows that he wants to be a Raider. I know a lot of people are like, oh, if Derek Carr leaves, Davante's gone. I don't even think that's true. I think Davante wanted to be a Raider. I really, truly believe that. And he also knows that the most money that he can potentially make is with the Raiders. I mean, that's just the way his contract is set up. The most money he can make is if he stays on the Raiders. What up, Brandon? I'm going to sponsor locals. Great content, contests. You get to know Mitch and on a more personal level. Brandon, I'm glad that you always send this in. We always joke about that. We know it's going to happen. If you want to know some other locals benefits, you get 2 extra videos a week, 1 extra live show, and interactive posts and polls. Plus, we do an NFL Pick'em Challenge. The Pick'em Challenge winner this week, all you got to do is go to chatsports.com/week4. We're only going to do Sunday and Monday games this week. That way it gives people some extra time to get started. The winner gets a $25 gift card. You get extra content, man, and you get a chance to take me on and pick them challenges, other Raider fans. I do. I love locals. I think we have a lot of great content. One of the videos that I put out there this week, Raiders winners and losers after the Titans 24-22 loss. I don't always have the time to put out the videos that I want on YouTube, but it does give me extra time to put up more content out on locals. So if you're a diehard Raider fan and you just want more Raiders content from me, scan that QR code with your phone, get out your camera, hover over it, click that, and then join the locals community. We got over 2,000 people over there. I think you're going to like it a lot. Let's go to that guy, Ryan. NF is dope, but my favorite is Merculus. I don't even know who that is. I'll have to look him up. If you like NF, I'll take your vote on this. I will say my music time, I don't really get a lot of music time, so whatever pops up my phone is what I get. Mitch, my guy Eminem, GOAT, and NF when I grow up. I love NF when I grow up. NF's music reminds me a lot of my childhood. And if you know NF, I think that tells you a lot about me. Let's go to Christian M. Give them till week 6. You're panicking. Well, week 6 is the bye, so technically you're saying week 7. I am panicking, but I think there's a difference between panicking and being frustrated, but there's a difference between hitting the eject button. I am panicking. I'm not ejecting yet. Giggity. Rolly Ron. Okay, Mitch, what about a defensive free agent that could save the Raiders season? To me right now, the Raiders are getting beat in the trenches on the defense. And I think one of the biggest issues for the Raiders, and yeah, we point the finger a lot at Chandler Jones, but their defensive tackles right now, This might surprise you. Their defensive tackles are not very good. So the guy that I'm going to go with, a lot of y'all think I would say Ndamukong Suh, but yeah, Jeremy, you're right. It's Sheldon Richardson. Sheldon Richardson to me he's a great run stopper. And from top to bottom, Richardson is a dude who can really, really help out this team. There's no doubt about it. And I think right now he's the best defensive tackle out there. And for me, that's what I'm looking for. Somebody who can just come in right away, be a solid run stopper, which is then going to help free up some other areas. But this team is missing multiple players on defense right now. So should the Raiders sign a defensive tackle, I want you to type S for sign or I want you to type P for pass. Let me know down in the comments section. Should the Raiders sign a defensive tackle? For the love of God, the answer is S for sign. Jack, would a trade for Quinnen Williams be smart? Doesn't look happy and had a blow up with the coach. I mean, Quinnen Williams would obviously be a player I would love. However, no, I don't think it's a legitimate trade offer. They're not going to move on from him. Joshua, any update on Renfrow? Unfortunately, you're not going to get an update on Renfrow until Wednesday comes out. Remember, I'm recording this on Tuesday, so keep that in mind when you see it go out later on the channel. I'm hoping that he can play, but you saw this past week, Andre James, they put him in a red contact jersey. He was able to get out there and practice, but he's missed 2 straight weeks. I don't have an update on Renfrow. If he's unable to go, look for more work out of Waller, more work out of a dude like Mack Hollins. What's up, Anthony? Waller, 3 drops. Foster would have bagged those. No cap. I mean, Foster played a better game in week 3, and I'm curious if they use him. Waller, to me, though, is still the more reliable option. Like, if we're down in a 4th and goal situation and you tell me, hey, can I throw it to Foster, can I throw it to Waller? I'm still going to throw it to Waller. But, yes, Waller had a bad game, and that's okay to say because he did. All right, y'all, remember, you can always follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram as well at Mitchell Renz 365. Make sure you give some love to our producer as well. Shout out to Jeremy Chugs because he does a lot of hard work behind here. If you ever hear a random voice behind the scenes, it's Jeremy Chugs. He's our producer for the entire season, and again, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to make the amount of content that I do. Because of him, we can get those Thursday shows. We're getting extra shows out, so give him a follow on Twitter at Jeremy Chugs.